I want to welcome you to Thrive in the Word. We're studying the 7 churches of Asia from the book of Revelation. And I hope that you're enjoying this study. We're just getting into the 7 churches. Now, if you haven't had the opportunity to listen to the background teachings, we've done several weeks of background teaching. Take some time. These are only about 8 to 9 minutes. And you know what? Take some time and really get a foundation, because what we've shared in the past, I think it's 3 weeks, is a foundation not only to the 7 churches, but it's the foundation of the book of Revelation. And many people get very misconstrued ideas about Revelation, and it's because they don't understand the foundation. Now, we're talking about the church at Ephesus. We're in the 2nd chapter, verse number 2. And this is what Jesus says to the church. He says, I know your deeds, your toil, your perseverance, that you cannot tolerate evil men, and you put to the test those who call themselves apostles, and they are not, and you found them to be false. Now we're going to just stop right there, because this is what I want you to understand. Now Jesus is not talking to the angel. He's giving instruction to the church at Ephesus. He's writing to them. And the first thing that Jesus does is he compliments the church at Ephesus. Now again, the church at Ephesus is the we could call it the epicenter of the Gentile church at this time. It's the capital. I really don't like that word, capital, but that's just to help you to understand. This was the place where a lot of the apostles had ended up. John ended up here. Paul ended up here. Timothy was there. I mean, a lot of the apostles, a lot of the leadership of the church universal were founded in the city of Ephesus. There was a Bible school in the city of Ephesus. All of those things were in this city, and it's a very important city. And to be honest with you, I believe that's why Jesus picks the city of Ephesus and the church at Ephesus first. Because how many of you know that if you can correct the head, you can correct the whole rest of the body? And you see, Ephesus was the epicenter. And so Jesus is speaking into this epicenter of Christianity. And he's saying, I know. Now this Greek word here is the Greek word eido. And it means to know something by seeing it. You know, Jesus sees all of the works that take place in churches. Now, I didn't say he ordained them all, but he sees them all. Everything. You know, Jesus saw your pastor preach. He saw you sleeping, saw you studying in the pew along with him. He sees everything. He's among the churches. He's there. And he's inspecting, and he's watching over. He is the head of the church. And because he's the head, he's responsible for these churches. And so Jesus says to the church at Ephesus, he says, I know. In other words, I saw what you've done. Now let's take a look at what they've done. I know your deeds. What a person normally does. That's what a deed is. He says, I know what you're doing. I know what you normally do on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I know your occupation. I know your deeds. He goes on, he says, and your toil. Now this word toil means hard work. Now let me just say this. If you don't know this, churches are hard at work. Now sometimes they're hard at work doing things that don't really matter. But it's hard work. Churches are hard work. Your pastor, if he's called by God, if he's burning with a passion for God and for God's people, you know what? He's hard at work. He's not just taking a vacation. He is hard at work. And so Jesus says, I know what you're doing daily. And then he adds to it, he says, I know your hard work. But then he continues on. And he says, and your perseverance. He says, I know your perseverance. Now this word perseverance is the Greek word hupomai, and it means to stand under pressure. Can you imagine? Here they are in the city of Ephesus, and there's all kinds of demonic forces in operation. There's all kinds of teachings and philosophies. You know, here comes a boatload from Rome, and they bring in their new philosophies, and here comes a boatload from another part of the world, and they come in with their philosophies and their teaching and you know what? Not only that, but the Roman Empire is persecuting the church in a very, very harsh way at the time of the writing of the book of Revelation. And Jesus himself is saying to the church in Ephesus, he's saying, I know that you're standing. I know you're standing under pressure. I know that you are not giving in to difficult circumstances. And then he says this, that you cannot tolerate evil men, and that you put them to the test, those who call themselves apostles, and they are not, and found them to be false. You cannot tolerate evil men. This word for to be able, it actually means that you just cannot put up with something. You know what? One of the problems that we have in the church today is we're putting up with evil men. We're putting up with people that call themselves apostles and prophets, call themselves something that they are not. But that didn't happen in the church at Ephesus. That didn't happen there because they would not tolerate, they wouldn't put up with them, they wouldn't carry them and bear up and stand with them. They wouldn't tolerate them. And brothers and sisters, I think we could take a lesson from the church at Ephesus, that we don't tolerate these evil men, these men that come in, women that come in, and they call themselves apostles, but they're not. And you found them to be false. In other words, you tested them. You know, brothers and sisters, we need to test what people are saying. But you tested them. Wow. What a beautiful picture that Jesus is painting. What a word of encouragement. You know, I can almost see those elders going, hey, he kind of likes this place. But wait until the next verse. And you're going to have to wait until tomorrow, because we're going to talk about what Jesus has against the church at Ephesus. Join us again tomorrow.